Hello, good morning, class. I hope we are all doing well. Okay, so today the lecture is going to be centered on the use of QGIS as part of the practical sessions that we are supposed to have before your exams. So the video will be in fulls and you need to look at them. Um, which will help you to be able to go through the practical section. So just follow whatever I'm doing here, and with the right information, you should be able to go through. So for the purposes of this class, you must have QGIS installed on your computer, and I will be giving to you all the shape files that we are supposed to use for the purposes of this particular class. Again, my shape file is here, districts underscore 261, which is the district level shape file for the whole country. Okay, so without wasting much time, I would like us to start the practical session. So if you have QGIS installed on your computer, you just simply go there and get the software opened. Double click to open the software. Okay, so the software is loading. So once the software is loading, I would like to introduce this software to you. So we say that QGIS is one of the critical softwares that captures, manages, analyzes, and visualizes what we call spatial reference data. Okay, so we are saying that within the broader field of geographic information systems or science, GIS integrates principles from cartography, computer science, and spatial analysis to support decision making across various or diverse domains, including public health and environmental health, agriculture, transportation, and the likes. Okay, so among the various softwares that we have, QGIS is a free open source software which is widely used across the world. Okay, so in summary, we'll be saying that QGIS is a robust and accessible entry point into GIS and offering a balance between usability and analytical in-depth. Okay, so basically that is just it about the software. So when you open your software this way, because I have worked with some projects already, you see it displaying here for me to say that, well, I want to choose it or I want to bring it back and continue working on them. But for the new users, you are having this particular project template, new empty project that it's showing there. So for the purposes of this class, we want to double click on the new empty project. All right, so once you double click on the new empty project, that is where it will display the QGIS software very well for you. All right, now in QGIS, there's one of the things that you must appreciate, the interface of the software, and that is what we are going to go through today, and subsequently looking at other aspects of the software. So when you open QGIS, you see the toolbar. This is the toolbar, okay? Where the cursor is running through is what we call the toolbar. What does the toolbar do? Okay, the toolbar basically is used as a shortcut medium to most of the commands that QGIS has. You will realize that each software has commands that you issue to the software to respond to you. So the commands are usually under the tabs. The project tab, edit, view, layer, settings, plugins, vector, raster, database, web, mesh, processing, help. These are where the commands are. Okay, we call them the tabs in QGIS. These are where the commands are. But out of these commands, QGIS developers have decided to put this toolbar that hosts what we call shortcut of the tools that we'll use in QGIS. So whatever you find here, they are found under the tabs. But going through the tabs is a long process. So usually we we have this toolbar that helps us to be able to, um, as it may be, quickly locate some of the commonly used tabs in QGIS. For instance, there's a tab here called New Print Layout, which we'll be using it pretty soon. New Print Layout. Now, New Print Layout is found under the Project tab. So when I click the Project tab, then I come down, I will see New Print Layout. Okay, so basically that's the explanation I was giving. So the tabs and the toolbar are essential aspects of the software that helps us to be able to do some analysis in QGIS. Again, there is a browser window. The browser window is the window that helps us to be able to navigate through our computer if we want to get some information onto QGIS. Okay, so if you want to get some information onto QGIS, you go to the browser window and navigate to find out which part of your computer is containing that particular information. Once you get that information and double click it, it displays it on the display window. So this is known as the display window, where the cursor is running through, the palm is running through, is known as the display window. In essence, that is where when you perform any analysis or any action, the outcome is what displayed on this aspect. The last aspect I want us to appreciate is the layers aspect. Okay, the layers aspect is basically where when we add what we call layers, either the vector, the raster, the shape files, name it, the Excel files and whatever. Once we add a layer onto QGIS, QGIS will host the layer at this particular window. Okay, so this window helps us to be able to know at each given point in time how many layers are inputted into QGIS. So any layer you input, you end up seeing the layer appearing on this particular aspect. Now, the other thing that we want to look out is to see how the display window displays information for us to see. So I'll start by importing what we call the open street maps. Okay, the standard open street maps that we usually use in QGIS. What is the open street map? The open street map is basically the standard map of the earth, which contains all the satellite areas in QGIS, in GIS. Okay, so basically the world has a globe and the globe has very various countries, which has various areas, which are various locations that we can navigate into. So for the purposes of this class, if we want to load the OpenStreetMap, there are two ways. First, we can go to the web. When we go to the web, we go to the Quick Map Services. Okay, Quick Map Services. You go to Quick Map Services, you see OpenStreetMaps, the first one. Then you say you want to load the standard OpenStreetMap. Okay, if you load the standard OpenStreetMap, you will load the map that of the earth. So you see, once I load it, the map of the earth has appeared, and if you go to the layers aspect, you see that OSM standard map has been what? Loaded to this particular software. So now I have a map that is uploaded onto QGIS. Those that don't have the OpenStreetMap installed for the Quick Map services, if you are connected to the internet, just go to plugins, okay, go to manage and install plugins. When you click there, it will display all the plugins. Once it display all the plugins, you just type quick map services. So you see it's called the Next GIS Quick Map Services. So in case it was not installed, I'll just click on it. Then you come down here to see install plugin at the down part where my cursor is. Then you click the install plugin. When you click the install plugin, it will pull the information from the web and install it onto your QGIS. Okay. So, but because I have the software already installed, I don't need to install again. So I'll just close. Now, the other aspect that we want to do is to know how to navigate around these particular maps when inputted. Okay, we have what we call the zoom in and the zoom out, which we can use to expand this map for the benefit of our class. Also, when you look at the palm map, when activated, is the map that is the tool that you can use to move the map around. So if I click and hold and drag, I am moving the map around. You see the way I'm moving the map around. So because I've clicked and I'm dragging, okay, I can drag it to any place at any point in time. Now, the zoom in and the zoom out are used to what? To zoom the map to see where the various locations that we are looking out for. Now, this one is the center map. Okay. It zooms full and centers the map for you. So when I click on it, you see, it will zoom the map and center the map for me. So when you are running your QGIS at a point, your map has shifted to some point and you don't want it that way, you can use the zoom center tool to be able to bring back the map to the middle of the software. Okay, so those that are also using mouse, once you roll your mouse up and down, it's zooming in and zooming out the software. So I want to know where Ghana is. So for the OpenStreetMap, you have to have internet services. Once you have internet services and you are zooming, it begins to bring you the information about the areas that you are looking for. So I'll just use my mouse to roll my mouse to zoom. So you see, when I begin to zoom, ensure that the palm is activated. The palm is activated. Then you can hold and drag it to center it and can continue zooming to see where Ghana is. Okay, I've seen where Ghana is. So I'll continue zooming. I'll continue zooming. Okay. I want to see where Sunyani is. Okay. So, right. I'm seeing where Sunyani is gradually. I'm zooming in and I'm seeing where Sunyani is. You see Sunyani? Okay. So you see that the areas understood Sunyani have started what popping up. As you zoom, because of the internet services, look at this blue aspect. When I zoom, look at this blue aspect. You see that means it's fetching the information from the internet. Okay. When it's done there, it will give you that. I want to locate where we call Catholic University on my map for us to appreciate the software. Okay. I think I'm getting lost. I want to navigate myself to find out where exactly. Okay. So Sunyani is here. Okay. I think this is the road that leads to Fiapre. Fiapre is here. As I expand, I begin to see Fiapre well. So Notre Dame is here. That means we are closer to Catholic University. This road leads to Catholic University. Good. So we have Catholic University here. If you can see, this is the campus of Catholic University. So these are the buildings that we have within Catholic University. This place is the hostels and the abandoned structures that are put on by the university. This area denotes the classrooms and the story buildings that we have around the campus. Now, this particular area demarcates what we call the landmass of Catholic University that we have. Okay, so this is the land allocation to Catholic University per the OpenStreet map. So the map is a map that you can use to be able to visualize what we call the areas on the earth. Okay, the areas on the earth. So I'm zooming back. I'm zooming back. I'm zooming back. I'm zooming back. Okay. So okay. So this is Ghana now. All right. So that is the way the map um, displays its outcomes on QGIS. Again, again, usually we use the OpenStreetMap as a basis to be able to check the goodness of faith, okay, the goodness of faith of our shape files, okay. So if I have a shape file, I would love to check whether the shape file is really a good shape file, okay. Then I can use the OpenStreetMap to be able to check to see whether the map is good. So to bring in the map services or the shape file that I have with the districts, with the map of Ghana with the districts, I'll quickly go here, okay, and then click on the C, then I come down, click on the users, then I come down and click on HP, then I come down and click on what? Desktop. When I click on desktop, I'll see my districts underscore 261, which is my shapefile. Then I click there. Then the shapefile appears. You see, it's district underscore 2 dot shp, which is the shapefile. So I'll double click. When I double click, you'll see that the layer has been what inputted onto QGIS. So now I have two layers. The first layer is the OpenStreetMap, and the second layer is the map of Ghana. So you see that the map of Ghana fits exactly on the OpenStreetMap that we have. You see it? Once you see that way, then you know that your shapefile is okay, or your shapefile is very good. Okay. So basically, that's how to navigate to bring your shape files into QGIS. Again, you can decide not to use this particular browser window to do that, but rather go to what we call layers. Layers. So when I click under layers, I go to what we call add layer. When I go to add layer, then I can come and choose the type of layer I want to what? Add. Okay. I'll come and choose the type of layer I want to add. So when I choose the type of layer I want to add, then I'll satisfy the conditions. Okay. I'll satisfy the conditions that we are talking about. Then I will do what? I'll satisfy the conditions. Once I satisfy the conditions, then I I I continue to add. Okay. So when I add, you see that it has added another district 261 for me, which shouldn't be the case. So to remove a layer, you just right click, then come to remove layer and click on remove layer, then go to OK. Now we have the district shape file, just one of it displaying. So again, you can load any other type of layers that you want to what you load. Okay. So you might want to load what we call the vector layer, which we have looked at, the raster layer, which we have looked at, and the Excel files. Okay, so when you click on it, it doesn't mean that when you click on it, you can still change the type of what layer that you want to add. Okay, so you can still come, you see the vector, raster mesh, and all that. You can still use these particular ones to do what? To change it to which of them you want to what? Bring in. Okay, so they are there. So the most commonly used ones are usually the vector and the delimited what? Text file. So the delimited text file is basically when you are importing what we call Excel files into QGIS. Okay, so that is how to bring in layers into QGIS. I remember I said for the OpenStreetMap, we can also do what? Use the browser window to get the OpenStreetMap. So let me teach you how to do that. On the browser window, go to XYZ tiles. Okay, go to XYZ tiles, then open it up. When you open it up, you see what we call OpenStreetMaps there, straightforward. So this is the QGIS already installed OpenStreetMaps. So you just double click, when you double click, you see it has brought the what? A new OpenStreetMap for us. Okay, it has brought a new OpenStreetMap for us. So you can uncheck or you can what? Remove one of them and leave the other. Now you can always change the position of the layers. Remember that the top layer is the one that is lying on the what? The down layer. And so it is so the layers lie on each other. So the first layer now is the OpenStreetMap, and the second layer is the district map. So the district map is lying on top of what? The OpenStreetMap. When I turn it upside down, when I drag and send this one up, it means that the what? The OpenStreetMap is now lying on the what? On the shapefile that I inputted. Okay, you see that once I do that, the district map disappears because the OpenStreetMap is bigger than the district. So you don't see the district map at all. You don't see the district shapefile at all. But the district shapefile lying on the OpenStreetMap because you see the OpenStreetMap because it just occupies a portion and the others are free. Okay, so that is how to work with your maps. Again, another aspect that is important that we must appreciate is the color blending. The color blending of the number of shapefiles or the number of what layers that we have in QGIS at any given point in time. So look at this, you will see that the district shapefile has occupied Ghana, and we are not seeing what the OpenStreetMaps is displaying. So we might want to reduce the color of it and make it a bit opaque so that you can see at least what the OpenStreetMap is displaying. So we'll come to the district shapefiles and right click. After right clicking, we go to properties. Then when we go to properties, you go to symbology, and go to symbology, then you come to opacity, and you see it's 100%. We might want to reduce the opacity to maybe 20% or something. Yes, so we can leave it at 20%. We can also change the color. We can also change the color of the map that we are dealing with. So that is where to change the color. Then we come to apply and go to OK. When you do that, you see that I have lightened the district shapefile. So now you can now see the OpenStreetMap beneath it. Okay. So basically that is the way we do color blending and color word adjustment to ensure that all layers that are inputted into the software are visible for the purposes of what? Analysis. Okay. So having had this, this is the way we input what we call, or this is the way we load layers into QGIS. Okay, so having loaded these layers, the other thing is that you remember in your theoretical aspect of your work, of your lectures, you will remember that we spoke about what we call attribute data. Attribute data. Now in QGIS, we can also visualize the attribute data to know how the attributes of each of the areas are, or each of the information that are kept in the software. Now, what is attribute data? Is additional data that is attached to the locations, the spatial data that we have. Okay, so this is the spatial data, and now we are looking at attributes. The attributes could be the locations, that's the districts, it could be the regions, it could be the sex composition, it could be the malaria incidence or prevalence, it could be any other one attribute of the area that QGIS can display. So to do that, we right click the shapefile or the layer and go to open attribute table. Click on open attribute table. This is what will open. So when it opens, you see that label, region, and district are the three attributes that this shapefile has. Okay, when you come down here, it is these tabs helps us to be able to visualize it in different ways. When I click on this, it will change it to this. Okay, it will tell you that it will give you in-depth information about each of the layers. Okay, but usually we prefer using this. So this basically tells us that our shapefile has what we call three attributes: label, which is what we call the districts, the district names, the region, and also the district names here. So the district names is repeated for each, for the layers, for the layer. Okay, so basically that is just about it. So you go through and see your attribute data that you have on the QGIS. You can also add new attributes. You can also add new attributes by coming to this pencil at the top there and clicking on it to activate edit mode of the attribute tables. Okay, so when you click on it, it gives you the opportunity to now edit the attribute table. So I can decide to say that I want to edit the attribute table by saying that what? I'll click a new field to add a new field, and the field I'll name it as mal underscore count. So see the total counts of malaria per the area, the length of the what, the distance digits I want is 10. Now, if it's an integer, which we are looking out to get, you will leave it at integer by default. But you can also click there and change it if it's decimal, if it's text, if it's date, if it's Boolean, all of them you can what? Select to ensure that you change it appropriately. But it is by default, it is an integer, and that is what we want. That is what we want. So I'll go to OK. When I go to OK, you realize that it has created a new column and has named it mal count. Okay, so you want to input information about the malaria counts for each of the areas. Once you just click in it, it will activate it. Then you can type whatever you want to type. 23001. So it's 23,001 cases of malaria. Now the next one is what we call 32,009 cases of malaria, in that order. So you input all the data for each of the areas that you find yourself working with. Okay, so after doing that, you go to save edit. After saving the edit, then you go to remove the what? The edit mode. Okay, when you remove the edit mode, then you can close. So when you close, effectively it closes what we call the attribute table. Okay, so that is just how to look at what we call loading layers and manipulating the layers that we have. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. We will meet again in the next session. Bye bye.